Hey, Mr. Hext. Oops. Let's get him set up here. Wrist is sore? Oh, that's fine. Yeah, it sounds like you're something you're doing is impacting your wrist. Because I've been like, I mean, well, some of it is like I'm already have my wrist muscles built up and stuff, but I've been drawing a ton, and I'm not experiencing any wrist issues. I think there's something about how you're holding your pencil and how it's impacting your wrist that you really have to look at. And I kind of detect it a bit because like the way that I see you draw when I do see your work, like it kind of does feel like you are probably pressing down really hard in a way that you shouldn't be. Some of the pain is in your forearm. Yeah, if it's in your forearm, then that means you're using your wrist and you're pressing with your wrist. Even if you're not, even if you're not impacting your wrist very much, if you're not pacing yourself and giving yourself breaks, you can still like drive your wrist to pain with like low impact damage, basically, without taking healthy breaks. You should be trying to get up and walk around like roughly every 30 minutes or so. And take like a 5-minute break or so. That's why I do these 5-minute breaks. In fact, let's run the ad real quick so like newcomers coming in don't get annoyed by the pre-roll. Because it's just you and me now. So you should be able to hear me because you're subscribed. I'm hitting the ads so that I actually really should have hit the ads like right at the very beginning before we start because that stops the pre-roll. About 30 seconds before the ads are done. Yeah, every time I run the ads manually, like there's like a pre-roll timer that starts. So basically, when I run the ads, like newcomers who come into the stream are spared having to see like an annoying ad intro. Like they can jump right in and see what's happening in the stream. So I've just got to like run that every so often. In fact, I think what I'm gonna do is there's a pre-roll timer of about 20 minutes. I'll use that as like my timer for my sets. It's not ideal. I would like that pre-roll timer to be 25 minutes, but that's still pretty workable. for like breaking up these little figure drawing sets, basically. It with the nicest sauce. Let me see here. Maybe I can run one of my previous clips. I can do this. Whoops, damn it. Turn that off. Gonna be some copyright claim shit on my stream that's gonna get muted just briefly there. Annoying. Let's see here. Pins. Where's the pins? There's the pins. Okay. And then I take the pen. Pin this. Put that maybe like here. Maybe. I don't know. Kind of a bad spot for it, honestly. But I can run that during the break, maybe. I'll save that for the break. Yo, Red Velvet. You off work already? I kind of skipped this pose, but I'll do like a speed run of it, like a 1 minute pose. Let's try that. Just kind of leaning back there. Get the gesture in there, those figures. In the little time that I have on that pose. You're doing the red lines? Yeah. Feel free to do the red lines over the Mickey stuff too. Especially on Minnie. I want to see if you can cutify Minnie. Like, take kind of what I've done and make her like appealing in a way that you'd enjoy drawing her. Kind of using my basic shapes, I guess. But yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, I was doing some Steamboat Willie. I was doing some legally distinct Willies this morning. Here's one of the legally distinct Willie drawings. I had like this weird idea of like, what if we did like a shot-for-shot remake of Steamboat Willie, but did it kind of like Studio Trigger-esque or something. And I really like this little drawing here, how this one turned out. And this is the goat. This is my version of the goat that eats the music. Playing up the satanic angle. Getting into One Piece territory with Pete. Playing up the size difference. Here. let's get back to this. I got a little distracted on that pose, but yeah. Like doing those little drawings has also helped me loosen up today too. I still am on a quota to do some stuff. Oh yeah, Red, I gotta get off my ass and do cleanup on that shot that that teaser trailer thing was assigned to me. So I better set up that shot. Maybe tonight, maybe yeah. Well, I want to get some mileage in tonight, but I'm gonna at least set up my. I'm gonna set up my harmony file for that shot. I need to get off my ass and work on that thing. Yeah. I should at least get the harmony file for it set up today, and then maybe do like a few lines to get it started. Then I can start working on it a little bit each day and get it done, because I think it's like the one shot I'm going to do cleanup on for the whole thing that I know that they had me doing. They gave me to the end of this month for the deadline for it, but I want to get it done like within the next few days, honestly, because I'll get paid for it. Not a whole lot, but get paid for it. Hello. Lich to Reagan. Let's see Reagan. Yeah, cool. Welcome to the stream. Join us and get us some time. Get some time pose gesture drawing in with us. You're on an admin day, so no drawing. What do you mean admin day? I'll actually make this one on the same page here. By admin day, oh, here we go. Been doing paper all day for afternoon gig. And you busted your elbow, so you have to take paperwork to get drawn. Oh, okay. Get paper drawing. Okay, gotcha. That's cool. Well, we'll be talking about stuff that you can tickle your mind brain with over the course of this. I got a few things. We'll probably dip a little bit more into Michael Hampton. We'll probably dip into some of the other drawing books I've been looking at. Let me get like some. But I got a lot of good drawing in yesterday. I'm probably not going to get as much drawing as today as I did yesterday in, but I've already off to a good start with my legally distinct willies that I sketched this morning. Really do like this drawing. I might clean up this drawing later. Like a proof of concept kind of thing. These are a little these are a little kind of unfinished first pass, but this one's kind of looking in the ballpark of like I could do cleanup on that one. Oh, thank you so much for the sub, Fire Cooking. Now we're at 5 subs. It just occurred to me who that was. I actually didn't read your username till just now. Now I know who you are, Fire Cooking. I've got to actually give moderator status. Let's see. In my Discord to anyone who's a mod in my community. There you go. Now you have Twitch mod status. Yeah, as my mods show up in here, I'll start as my my Discord community mods start showing up in here, I'll start giving them mod status in my chat. Yeah, Prime sub's a sub. Real subs pay like $1 more, I think, but like Prime sub's a sub. It counts towards sub points too for like eventually getting like levels beyond affiliate status and stuff. There's like this thing called sub points, and I gotta get 100 of them to get like the first level up where I get a larger share of the revenue of my subs, basically. That's how it works. I was like, who knows? I mean, like, if what I'm doing here kind of takes off a bit, it might be a good idea for me to budget for TwitchCon, because TwitchCon's like right here in San Diego, and I'm not that interested in TwitchCon other than the artist alley at TwitchCon. Talking with other artists and stuff. That would be something I would want to do. Hey, watch Infinity Train. I feel like Watch Infinity Train is trying to tell me something. Like about a certain show I should watch. A certain show that was unjustly taken off of HBO Max by the dreaded David Zaslav. So I'm keeping kind of loose right now as I'm getting warmed up. I was really tightened and stiff up when I started yesterday, so I'm keeping things really gummy and loose right now as far as the figures go. I actually have done some. I haven't done any digital drawing today, but I did some sketchbook drawing today. I did like a bunch of little faces. Well, no, I did do digital drawing today. I did these, like these legally distinct Mickeys, or legally distinct Willies, rather. Yeah, one of my mods in here. I'm gonna be one of my mods is a really talented artist. I'm gonna be messing with them with that a bit maybe later tonight because they're a huge Studio Trigger and doing like kind of a Studio Trigger-ified version of Willy. We'll call him Willy. That would be pretty fun. Willy Wouse. What do we call like legally distinct Minnie Mouse for Steamboat Willie? Like Willina? Willy Wouse and Willy Wouse and Willina Wouse. You know, they're not married. Why are they called Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse? I do wonder about that. Yeah. I got about 5 more minutes, like I guess it's about 2.5 poses or so. Or 2 poses, 2 poses after this one, I think. Before we take a 5-minute break, and then we'll get back to another drawing set after the 5-minute break. But we got 2 more poses now after this one. Updating your licensing agreements today. I did like 500 licensing agreements. Dang. Oh, You gave me 1 bit. That's why you're in the leaderboard. Okay, I understand that now. That's like 1 penny, I think. 1 bit. 1 bit is like 1 penny, I believe. But yeah, the reason, well, thing is, like, I'm from San Diego. Just the main TwitchCon is in San Diego, which is neat. I've actually never been to TwitchCon, weirdly. But, up until like the last decade or so, I did go to Comic Con almost every year I could. The reason why I stopped is because tickets started to become impossible to get, which is a huge pain. Oh, look at that. I love how there's like this very distinct kind of ham bone shape, like caveman drumstick shape, sort of, to that guy's thigh there. I'm kind of drawing similar to how I draw when I'm drawing like ballpoint pen in a figure drawing class on my sketchbook right now, or with Sharpie. I had to relicense all my assets I use in the workflow sound effects and video. Whoa, wow! Every year instead of doing it, yeesh. That's annoying. See what I can do with this. This will be the last pose before I run a 1-minute ad while we do a 5-minute get up and walk around break between doing the drawings together. So for those who are just new here, you're supposed to draw along and do the figures that are on screen. You can also submit them in my Discord if you want to share them. I'll put in. There we go. There's the Discord link. I'm not really feeling it with this last pose. I've kind of mentally checked out of that last pose because I'm getting ready for the break. I'm going to draw something else here. Let's see here. A shitty face. I don't like that face. That is actually a really nice pose. I'll pause that there. Okay. So I'm going to run the ad real quick and we'll be on a 5-minute break. So let me actually put that on screen here. Make a layer here for displaying that we're on a break. Five-minute break. Alright, here's the ads, which will spare everyone the pre-rolls. We will, after the 5-minute break is up. Alexa, set timer for 5 minutes.
5-minute timer started.
Alright, we'll get more drawings in after the no, it's been at more than 9 viewers. I think it was like, it peaked at like 14. I can actually look at the analytics here of the last few streams. Let's see. The last stream summary, max viewers was 9. So yeah, that was actually not too far off. Oh man, that was a morning stream. Max viewers was 10 the day before, and then max viewers was 14. So yeah, it's not too far in the ballpark from 8. I need to get up and walk around, but like 8 is a pretty good. Now that we're at like 8 or 9 or so right now, that's good for start on this stream. We're on a little 5-minute break right now. I do recommend people get up, stretch, walk around, restroom. I'm gonna get a big glass of ice water to cab nearby me. I'll be right back to that. Your peak viewers is like 10. 10 years is like 9. 6 of my friends. Oh yeah. Okay. I see. No, I mean, if a bunch of us who are artists and are trying to get drawing and get better, start doing regular streams, we can probably like hop into each other's. Or if not that, if we can't be there everywhere at once, we can at least like raid each other. Oh, now we're at 11 viewers, that's cool. Alexa, how much time left on timer?
Yep, your timer's got 37 seconds left.
That's cool. Anyway, here's a little video with some previous motion studies I did. Oh, is the you gotta ask, is the music competing with my voice? Should I turn it down? Reduce my mic gain? Yeah, 12 years. Alexa, stop. All right, we're going to get another set of figures in. It's a really nice figure, but sadly it's going in the dumpster because we're going to be doing a set of 1-minute poses. I'll set that to about, let's give us about 15 of these, and then we'll take another short break. It'll be a little shorter than 5 minutes for the break, but yeah. All right, so let me turn that off. Here we go. So you only have 1 minute for these poses. You got to kind of pick and choose your battles for this. In my case, I was like busy kind of setting up my workspace a bit just now, so didn't get a whole lot of time to draw this one, but I can at least get some of the gesture in a little bit. Maybe like throw like a box for the pelvis in there before I move on. All right, new pose. Zoom in on her. Music could be turned down a little bit. Okay, give me a sec. Hope that's enough. Damn, I have no time to draw this pose. I'm gonna have to race against time, aren't I? Well, that's okay. I can just make this and do like a 30-second pose. Like that. In fact, we're gonna do maybe some 30-second poses tonight. How does that strike you? Alright. So you want to go for that line of action first, and then see how you can define the rest of what's happening out of that line of action. And there isn't enough time to overthink these. Pretty plain back, but we'll do it. There you go. Move on to the next one. That's I'm gonna skip this one because that one's too bunched up for my liking. That's yeah. No. I'm looking for stuff that has like a more of a distinct silhouette. So we might need to actually recharge some of these. Let's get a fresh set. I didn't account for that I need to skip some of these poses when I set the number of poses to 15, so I'm probably going to need to reset them. Not completely warmed up yet, so still feeling pretty clunky. We'll skip that one. Now let's try to like block in some of that a little bit in the bare time that we have left. There we go. All right, next pose. Alright, next pose. Let me reset them here. And 1 minute. Actually, no, 30 seconds. Let's do it. These are all going to be 30-second poses. No time to overthink these. You've got to like reduce these to like a cuneiform, like this. You see? Don't worry, we'll have like 5 of these total that we're gonna do, 5 or 6. Actually, no, wait, double that. Double that amount. I was going by minutes instead of 30 seconds. So we have about 10 of these. We're getting off a lot of ones with rope. Do this. Maybe add like a little perspective on this guy and the little plan that I have. Very strange mid pose here, but we'll work with it. You really do have to pick and choose your battles for these, because there's not enough time to get like every little thing in. There we go. Really tighten up that back right there. There's enough time to get like super amounts of anatomical detail in here. You got to get gesture and like an indication of the idea as quickly as possible. Oh, we're skipping that one. Some of them just get like so tangled and tough to kind of like discern this clear silhouette that I will skip them. But like this guy, it's pretty clear. The silhouette is pretty clear, so. I got about 4 more poses. Let's skip that one. It's too symmetrical. Skip that one. It's a little too. There we go. Yeah, we got about 4 more poses before we take a 5-minute break. Three more poses coming up. But you see, like doing this, it forces you to focus on like the abstraction of what the figure's doing. And you can't overthink it. This is the second to last pose. For the 5-minute break. And what's our last pose going to be? Is it going to be a dud I'm going to have to skip, or we'll see. Let's see what the next pose is. That's pretty good. We can end on that one for the 5-minute break. Let's try to stuff this guy in the corner here. Nope, and that was it for that. I'll leave that paused on him. But I'm gonna run an ad real quick, and then we'll be on a 5-minute break again here. The ad is so that the pre-roll people won't get pre-rolled when they come in. If I had my choice, we wouldn't have any ads on this channel. But Amazon being what it is. Okay, that's good. That's good. All right, I'm gonna run the 1-minute ad now. Get up and stretch. Refill your water. Go to the bathroom. Whatever else. Let's throw this down here. You're back here, because then like anyone who comes in can draw. Do that. I'll run the ad right now. Alexa, set timer for 5 minutes.
5-minute timer started.
That's nice. Yeah. I would, if we do something like this, I would still push them more than what you have, but there's some aspects of them that I like. I think like the way that we would do it is we would cross-pollinate and also like let people who are, if there's multiple people who would work on something like this, like a collab animation, then we would let the individual animators like go off model in their own style for the shot that they're on. So that like your shots would probably look more like, yeah, yours are going playing a little bit safe. I was trying to like pull some more of the wilder studio trigger energy in there. But there are some aspects to what you did that I do like. I kind of feel like you kind of have to get like the revving of the motor going in order to get kind of into that Yo-Yo Shinari rhythm. If you get what I'm saying. Oh, well. Yeah, it should be in my Discord, shouldn't I? Okay. Why do I have two of those windows open? I should have said one. Okay. So weird. Yeah. That's like a Mickey Mouse, but I mean, I get that. Uh, we could play with it some more later. You're not getting the Tezuka swerve and the way that you drew them, but we can always play with that to to pull that out. I do like some of the femininity that you put into Minnie for sure. Alexa, how much time left on timer?
Your timer's got 53 seconds left.
You go. So when we come back from this break, I'll put some more poses on, but we're going to take a look at some study fodder. Alexa, stop. All right, I'll turn this off. Yeah, I'll show this off again. I'm also looking at these again because I'm trying to reorient myself to get back in the mental framework I had when I made these. Yeah. I'm definitely going to do some motion studies like this in the future in here too. Alright, see you later, Fire. Alright, so we're going to have a look at some Michael Hampton, maybe a little Tom Fox rounds tonight. Possibly some Yo-Yo Shinari stuff, because I've been digging that stuff lately, but we'll have a look at that. Let me put on I'm going to put on like some 3-minute poses for people who want to keep drawing like what's on screen while we look at some drawing book stuff. There'll be a bunch of random poses over here for folks that are drawing just to draw while we get here. So yesterday let's see here. This is some of the stuff I was looking at yesterday. Yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for. This is from Michael Hampton right here. Whoops, sorry. This is from Michael Hampton's figure drawing design and invention book. This is some of the stuff I was doing yesterday. In here. Let me find it actually here. Yeah, so here's some of the figure drawing that I was doing yesterday for warm-ups and stuff. And this is what we wound up focusing on yesterday. We wound up focusing on doing box form similar of the torso, similar to what Michael Hampton has in one part of his book. So we picked a particular part of Michael Hampton's approach to drawing to practice. Now we could keep doing that or evolve and add to it, So we'll kind of spend this time to kind of dig into some of the study materials I have to strategize what we want to do. It's some other stuff I did yesterday. This is a demo for a tutoring student that I did. I was explaining like primitive stuff. I am available for tutoring. You can contact me through my Discord for that. Let's see here. Some traditional sketchbook stuff I was doing yesterday too. Starting to get back into sketchbooking. I've been looking at Yo-Yo Shinari stuff a little bit more. That's kind of with the Yo-Yo Shinari swerve to it. Somebody mentioned Riley method yesterday, so I did a quick Riley method demo in my Discord. The particular approach to drawing figures and heads. It's very flexible. Yeah, that's some of the stuff I did yesterday. There's some other things too. Oh, yeah, this morning I did a bunch of legally distinct willies. Legally distinct steamboat willies, like I said. So anyway, myself there. Yeah, so what we're gonna do now, I'll find a way of continuity to break off continuity from what we did yesterday. So let me look here. Bring up the Michael Hampton book. So for those who want to know what this is a 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, roughly 2-hour session that I do every night, where like we spend like roughly the first hour doing like drawing warm-ups and stuff, and then like the latter half is, well, we'll do some more drawing too, but we also will be digging into some art books, art tutorials, or other useful things to do some productive practice with, and like make use of some of like those. If you've ever pack ratted like those drawing books that you never practice from, that's kind of what we're doing here. We're making use of those drawing books that every artist always gets, but then never takes the time to actually fully study, you know. Yeah, what the? Okay. Alright, so this is an older edition of Figure Drawing Design and Invention by Michael Hampton. I have the current edition coming to me on the 15th mail. I actually lost the previous one to some thieves that stole about $1,000 worth of my art books from my garage, sadly. I'm slowly replacing a lot of the essential art books that I have, though. Anyway. So, what we did yesterday is we focused on like box forms of the body. We're gonna bite off another little chunk of what Michael Hampton's talking about. So I'm gonna jump around in the text here and try to process a little bit more of what he's talking about here. And then I'll kind of strategize something that we can do for the remainder of the class in here, about like a half hour or an hour of drawing, to kind of apply some of what he's talking about, you know. And gesture drawing is so important. We've been covering that a little bit. Let's see. What do I want to do today? I am enamored with these cylindrical forms that he's doing. That could be something we use the heading to do stuff with. Let's see. We could do more ribcage and pelvis, but then we use a cylinder and like the ellipse egg shape of the ribcage that's open at the bottom instead of the box form. That might be something to do. Yeah, that would be good to do, and then we could add the limbs with some cylindrical forms. Actually, we could also pay attention to these landmarks on the body. That might be rather good. Here, I'm going to screenshot that. And this is going to go in. These useful pages in here are going to go in the stream text chat. section of my Discord right here. I'm going to put that in. And then this. And here's some more landmarks to pay attention to. So I think the name of the game today will be paying attention to those landmarks. I'm going to throw this one in here too because this one seems something to pay attention to especially. Alright, so, and maybe this one too. Showing the back of the body, and he talks a little bit more. And I'll repost this because it's going to be useful for some people to have handy. Alright, so that's all in stream text chat right now. And this one, because that one's like a little bit more developed with the landmarks that he's doing. Alright, okay, so I'm going to grab this and throw it in my drawing app, actually. Let's make a book layer where I'm posting my reference book stuff. Alright, let's see here. So the skeleton is used to can be used to look at the figure symmetrically in full frontal or back view. The line down the center splits this, that's this right here. Let me actually do a little interaction when I'm reading through this. Give me a sec. Alright, so the skeleton can be used to look at the figure symmetrically. In a full frontal or back view, the line down the center of the skeleton, that's this right here, can split the figure into two equal halves. Equals Annie on the opposite page. That's the opposite page. Damn. I think that's what they mean there. I'll throw that in as well. Well, so let's see here. Yeah, so on our buddy the skeleton here, we got several different components. We got that handlebar. We got that kind of handlebar shape that's up there for the rib cage, for the collarbone. We got the sternum, and there's a couple other landmarks in there for like the top of the sternum and like the anchor point of the collarbone. The rib cage has a couple corners to it down here. Then you got the pelvis. I'm gonna make like a dish for the pelvis here. The pelvis is a dish in which the guts sit. Your intestines sit and kind of slop in there like a bunch of worms. Just pleasant to think about. He threw the belly button in, I noticed, like the navel right here. Yeah, these are some basic like frontal landmarks and stuff. I do like he used like kind of a box form for the arm here. I'm gonna have a little bit of fun kind of copying what he did somewhat, just as a little bonus practice. And he's also using a box form here, but he does kind of like turn it a little bit to a cylinder, isn't he? Because I wasn't like measuring proportionate accuracy with the copy I was doing. the aim of his arm is going to be a bit off, because I think I'm making it a bit big, but I'll at least get like a little bit of like that front of the cube on the end of the wrist here. Get like that little kind of brick that he's using for like a palm wedge there. Maybe like indicate more of the sides of torso here and more of the cylinder of the spine. He's using kind of a box shape with like kind of L-shape, upside down L-shaped box with a cube cut out in the back for the head here. My head's a little large compared to his. I'm drawing like quite large compared to him, so I can shrink that a bit. Yeah. He's using like some multi-complicated shapes here, but it's actually like not that complicated. It's two cylinders. This one right here. And that's the secondary cylinder for the inner thigh right there. And he's got like this sort of anchor point here to the side of the pelvis. The skeletal anchor point. So this other, I'm gonna remember that, like this little device right here, he's got like a cylinder that turns into a cube. Cylinders that turn into cubes is like a very favorite shape that you'll see an awful lot in figure abstractions. Most common places it turns up is for the upper thigh, for the thigh in general, because the thigh as it turns into the kneecap, especially when the kneecap is bent, and also the forearm. I'm not necessarily going for like accuracy with like his exact pose, trying to like give a little bit of like how he's using cylinders and box forms and stuff like that in this little thing here. So think about that for how I would construct my own figures. For anyone who's just joining us, feel free to draw what's on screen to our left here, or you can study along with me on Michael Hampton here. Just got a bunch of handouts if you join our Discord. I posted them all on stream discussion here for you to look at, copy from, and read and stuff. Hello, we got a newcomer here. Dickaroni, welcome. And also here's the Discord for anyone who wants to get the reference images that we're using. It's in stream text chat. There. Hit goodbye. Oh, cool. Welcome. Anyway, so getting back to Michael Hampton, I really do love the way he combines gesture and 3D constructed primitive objects and stuff. So I'm taking an opportunity as we're doing this to like do a little study of his thing. I'm not going to just read, I also want to copy his drawings and try to internalize the way that he draws. Let's see here. So, some key areas to pay attention to here. The pit of the bottom of the throat. The landmarks are like these landmarks and anatomical landmarks are kind of like connect the dot triangulations of the torso. You can kind of find your orientation on where the rib cage is pointed and where the pelvis is pointed from these forms, from these landmarks. The clavicles right here, right here. That would be here. It's like here. The manubrium, which is the top of the sternum right here, right there. Sternum itself, which is of course this little kind of like necktie shape right there. The ends of the thoracic arch of the rib cage, which is of course the corners of the rib cage right there and there. You see? Then the belly button. The belly button lines up with the center line of the torso and how it curves. So you can kind of like, if you've ever drawn like here, like here, like you've got three dots like this. You see that I've drawn up top there, and then you want to like make a curve between them. You can use the dot. You can use the dot like in the middle. That's like your curve arch point, basically, and that's kind of how the belly button works a little bit when you're using an abstraction like this. The ends of the iliac crest, which is the corners of the pelvis. So just like the rib cage has its own corners, the pelvis also has its own corners. All right, let's see here. Let's go on to the next thing. I'm going to import this into my workspace. Here, give me a sec. The next worksheet. Here's the anatomical landmarks of the front and the back. This is also part of the double-sided page where he talks more about those landmarks in the front as well. So we'll mess with those while doing this. But yeah, here's your basic components of the body here. Just get a little serviceable torso in there. Got a bit more of a ditch. So I'm just not gonna color code them, but I'm going to like dot in where all the landmarks are. I will use a different color for the center line though. So we got that. And I drew it on the layer with the right there, where the book is. Oh fuck. Well, that's fine. Let's throw it up here. Let's put him down there for now. So get like a 3/4 view. Do I want to flip this to do this? No, I think I'm fine like this. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw like a little 3/4 torso in here to show how the landmarks change when the torso rotates to the side here. Alright, this is like the last one. I'm not going to bother with color coding them other than like making them red, but I'm going to drop in the landmarks here. But I'm going to put in the center line down there. I am leaving off the belly button, but whatever. Okay, that's the next one. Where do I want to put the numbers? Maybe throw them over there and maybe zoom back a bit. So now we got a profile view one that I'm going to throw in here. Just like the other ones, gonna put this in here. I'm actually gonna include like a little bit of the clavicle, which he didn't include. Right, and let's throw that guy down here. And now we're going to do 3/4 back. So let's look at the back right here. The landmarks of the back are the base of the cranial notch, which is like right here, right there. The base of the back of the head, basically, connects up with the spine. Then the spine itself, the sacrum, which is this little like wedge that's in the back of your butt, in the pelvis. The seventh cervical vertebrae, which is like right here. It's like at the base of your neck, that little pink dot, like right here. And the scapula, which is, of course, your shoulder blades. And those are very large landmarks, the scapula. But here, all right, we're going to do a rear 3/4 view right now. Doing this kind of like S-shaped snakiness for the spine there. Let's do, I'll maybe do a cube for this one. Oh, yeah, I'll do a cube for this one. Yeah, the scapula kind of wraps over the rib cage in the back here. Throw that over there. It's gonna block the text, but well, I'm just throwing these around here so they can be on screen while I do these studies. I'm gonna throw the last one in here. For completeness, we're gonna do the straight view back. Right here. Alrighty, so now we have the lineup of quick and dirty sketches of the landmarks. I'm a little less concerned with making pretty drawings for this than I am with getting the information in my head about these landmarks. So I think landmarks today will be the focus. We'll be trying to really slow down and pay attention to those landmarks. I think the first step for that would be to, let's say, you can still use the cube, I think, for the rib cage and also for the pelvis, but I think it would be good to use the egg-shaped rib cage a lot more. And you can if you want to, you can switch it up, maybe, I would say, and then use like cylinder pelvis, because you can still kind of build the landmarks into that. But you see this kind of shape here, and then like you open the bottom of it. Like so. Pay attention to where the what the collarbone is doing when you do this. What's your opinion on the Morpho books? I'd like to have them. I've seen them. I haven't studied them, but I want to get a hold of them. Give me a second here. I had to go check something real quick. But yeah, the Morpho books are great. I want to get some of them. And if you subscribe to the stream, I'll be able to start budgeting for them. But we can take a look at the Morpho books real quick here. So for those who don't know, Morpho is these books right here. They're fantastic. There's one big main book, and then there's a bunch of like smaller books in the series. I believe that's the big main book. This one's like a larger size book, so it's a lot more expensive. I would strongly recommend formatting on this. It's so, there we go. Okay. So I would recommend picking up a physical copy of this. I'll link this. You can also find this on Amazon. You might be able to find it for cheaper on Amazon too. But But yeah, that's the main book. The main book is quite big, and then these other books, yep, these other books have some of the same images that in the same book and that they're in the main book, but also a lot of new ones, and they get more specific about the particular things that they cover. And there's a bunch of them in the collection that focus on different areas of the body. There's also one that's on mammals and animals as well. I think that there's more Morpho books than this. Let me look on Amazon real quick. I'm gonna go off camera for that. On Morpho, Amazon. Morpho Anatomy for Artists. Anthology of Artistic Anatomy. What is? Oh, this actually includes 3 volumes of the small books. There's a different book called There's actually 11 books in the Morpho Anatomy series, and then there's the anthology. So this is the other book I was talking about. I'm not going to show it on screen because it shows my address on Amazon, but here you got your copies from our previous employer since you had the discount card. That's cool. Yeah, Loki, if you work at a bookstore, that's really good for artists if you can get like discounts on art books and stuff. Yeah, this is the main Morpho book right here. Morpho Anatomy for Artists. That one is going for like $30 on Amazon. Let me see, how much are these other books going for here? So these other books are smaller too, so that you can carry them around easily. So like sketchbook in on the go. This one's $20. Some of the Morpho books are actually way cheaper than that. Let me see if I can find like. Yeah, definitely check Amazon because there does appear. So this book is going for $26 here. Well, no wonder it's selling for print and ebook here. If you're just buying it for print, then that's a little bit more reasonable. But it is only $12 on Amazon for this, like a little bit of a markdown, which is nice. The same exact book. Yeah. I think you tried to link something, Vika, and you got censored by the it won't let you post links. What's the name of the art book you're trying to share? Brain Machine 04. All right, let's have a look at that. Oh yeah, this. Yeah, I think I've seen you practicing. You or someone else was practicing from it, I believe. Okay, well I'll link that for anyone who's interested. Alright, okay, so what I'm going to actually have us do, we're going to be looking for torso landmarks. So we need some good reference of like some plain, clear torsos. So I'm going to look for that in this. But we're probably going to look for range of motion type stuff here, like this. Yeah, range of motion will be good for us for this session. So I'm going to create a quick draw set for range of motion. I'm going to maybe set like the timer at 5 minutes, and then I'll have us like jump between them as we see fit. But what we're gonna do is that. No, no, that's not what I wanted. Okay. Motions category. Range of motion. There we go. That's the back. I wanted to start with the front, maybe. Let's try like a really plain one, like this. I'm actually going to grab this here, and let's go over here. Let me create a reference layer in Clip Studio here. I will chop off the sides of this. And for anyone who wants to use this image, I'm going to post it in my Discord very shortly. If I can find my Discord, oh, there it is. All right, so this image right here, if you want to study from it, I posted it in my Discord in the stream discussion section right here. You can also come and say hi to the people in here if you want to join. The Discord link is in the chat. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to do a little tracing study. Paying attention to those landmarks and also to those hard masses in the form. I might want to use the sketching brush for this. Yeah, I'll use the sketching brush for this. Alright, so I'm going to kind of maybe start, whoops. Create a new layer for doing this study. Alright, so I'm going to kind of like sort of come in a bit. This is way too light. I'm gonna switch back to the pen. Alright, so it's an opportunity for me to do a little tracing study of the head and the body too, while I'm at it. So we're going to, I think we're going to start with these. I think it might be good if I could find some shirtless anime characters or something. We could probably do some anatomical landmark expeditions to try to find where the animators were using anatomical landmarks and more kind of anatomy-driven characters. That might be fun to do later. So we got the collarbone in here, right there. Then we're gonna try to memorize these. So what are the names of these? Pit of the neck, right here, which is where like the anchor points of the collarbone are attached, right there. Then the clavicle, which is the collarbone, right there. Then the manubrium, which is the very top of the necktie of the sternum, right there. Then the sternum itself, which comes down probably about here-ish, I'm going to guesstimate. Get some of the rib cage in there. Form of the rib cage right there. So it's this egg shape that's up through the body like this, and then there's like a hole that tilts towards us in the top of the neck right there. What the heck is going on with this? Oh, sorry. Alright, so I'm gonna reset this because we're sticking with this for a little while. We go down the center line of the body here, the center line of the torso, because this is pretty straight on, through the belly button down here. And we have those corners of the rib cage down here, like so. And the dish of the pelvis is somewhere around here. Kind of tilted towards us a little bit. Using his cum gut, the edges of his cum gutters as the point where you find that. So instead of a box, you could use a box for this. We're going to use a narrowed cylinder shape, kind of like this. Then the landmarks right here kind of line up a little bit with the corners of the rib cage right there. Corners of that are the iliac crest right there, I think. There's the pelvis. There's the pit of the crotch of the pelvis right there. And then we're going a little x-ray view. This is the sacrum back here, which connects up to the spine, which we're going to draw a little bit in here. A little bit wider than the center line of the torso. And it's connecting, of course, right there. And let me rub this down here. There we go. You see how it's starting to look like a pelvis now that I'm starting to like take stuff out. So from right here, somewhere around here is, I'm going like a little x-ray view right here to create these little sockets that are sticking out right here for rough guesstimation of where I think the thigh bone is connected here. Just gonna throw that in. Alright, see, is there anything else I want to do with this before we move on to the next one? Similar to the body, there's also landmarks in the head. We won't really go over them too much today, but I just want to point out like some of the landmarks of the head are usually like corners of the brow, like hard parts of the nose, and even the tip of the nose. And like the wedge that's between the eye sockets are another one of them. Get this kind of raccoon mask effect going on there. We'll get more into this kind of stuff later on. But just throw some Riley method rhythms in here just really quickly and get back to the body. Alright, so if you want to add like a little bit of flesh to this or something, might be a good idea to do a different color like this. So that flesh is kind of being held up in there, you see, by that pelvis. There's flesh and muscle right here that's sort of wrapping in here. As for his arms, I'm gonna throw like some gestural cylinders in here for his arms, I think. Because I don't want this study to be armless. Do that, and then like just throw like a quick kind of gestural hand tracing in. I'll add a little bit more of the muscle here. More of the fleshy bits here and there. And then I'm going to indicate the landmarks we were trying to pay attention to. I'll use like green for this back here. If I was feeling bold, I would do like an X-ray view of the scapula back there too. But speaking of scapula, let's actually use this same model. In fact, here, let me grab him. So I think there's back views and like 3/4 views of him doing this stuff. There's also this, which shows how those muscles change, which is really nice. That starts to get into like how deltoids and pectorals work. But yeah, let's see here. Let's get one of him from behind if we can find one. There is one from him from behind. There it is. There we go. So check that out. Look at how his like scapula is sliding over his body. We will Oh, and this is one of the multi-angle ones. Sadly, there's not one of him straight on, but yeah, this is nice. Now we get a nice like 3/4 view that we can do too. I kind of want to do his back next though. Let's go over here. I'm gonna throw this in. This is back view in the Discord in stream text. Maybe make an additional layer here for more reference. So we're kind of doing this all on one layer now. Good, it's photographed at like pretty close to similar height, so I don't have to do any resizing. Just lower the opacity a bit. All right. So let's dig in here. I'll be doing a little bit of, I'll be starting with the head and a little bit of the back of the head in. So remember, there is a landmark that starts up there. And it's at the base of the back of the head right here. So I'm actually starting with a landmark, believe it or not. I'll keep his head pretty simple and do like a quick block in right here. It's a little tricky to wrap my head around the head from back to rear. Maybe add like this kind of plain fit face right there. So you got like the center line of the back down there. And now look, there's an ellipse in the top of the rib cage. It's tilted towards us here, like you can see. It's tilted towards us here. You can see it's tilted towards like that. And then when it's away, it's tilted away from us. So I'm drawing like an X-ray view of the top of the rib cage right here in this. I try to keep his scapula pretty simplified when I get to them too. So, and it's the same thing with his pelvis. His pelvis is tilted towards us on the right here. It's tilted away from us now. So this ellipse is going up through here. The sacrum is like right here. So I'm actually starting one or actually two of the next landmarks, which this is part of the scapula right here, which is part of the device that wraps up from the scapula over and connects up with your collarbone. I'm actually going to Google some reference of the scapula real quick to look at it so I can kind of X-ray view what's going on here, because that's kind of wrapped. There's like really complicated muscles wrapped over that thing. So what I draw is probably going to be a very simplified thing that isn't quite exactly where it is, but I'm going to try to get somewhere in the ballpark about where I think it is. Something like this. So something like that, maybe. I'm just kind of guesstimating here. Alright, so we do have a little opening in the back of the ribcage down here. I'm going to indicate more of the spine here. And then, just as it is over there, I'm going to narrow this, and then the bottom of that tilts away from us, just as the top. And darken like one side. I'm going to darken the side that's like more visible to us. Create that X-ray. So we're seeing kind of the underside of that cylinder, basically. And you get like a darker top side a little. Alright, so cool. I'll be adding in the leg sockets again, just like I did on the other drawing. Like so. So notice, like, I'm kind of anticipating, like, I want these to move, so I'm kind of wrapping them over the back here. The scapula right there. Alright, let's see here. Don't really want to add red to the scapula. Yes, but I'll add some dots and other things where some of those important landmarks are. I'd say that's kind of a landmark there. Alright, let's see, now what? Let's add some fleshy bits to this, so like this, and then I'll just handle the arm as a gesture again. because we're not focused on the arm anatomy today. All right, Vicaroni. Nice little study sheet coming together here. Yeah. I'll take a step back for a bit. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. But yeah, we're working on some. After we did some figure drawing warm-ups, we're now doing some torso anatomy landmarks right now. From Michael Hampton. Here's some of the warm-ups. There you go. All right, I'm gonna give us a little break in a second, and then see where we're at. If we want to keep going a little bit longer in the stream, do some more of this. It would be good to like continue more of this study tomorrow. I kind of feel like I would want to like do him raising up the arms, or do like from 3/4 or another angle or something. Sometimes good to like slow down and do like a tracing study like this. But yeah, type 1 in chat if you're active in the room right now. There we go. There's someone. Yeah, type 1 in chat if you're active at the moment. Good, good. We got some people that are paying attention. That's awesome. Yeah, like when we get further into muscle anatomy type stuff, like things like this motion study are great for. Look at like the deltoid right there. Like look at how much the deltoid changes shape and stuff. It actually would be good to. Here's an idea. Here's an idea. We could do multi-day stuff in the future. In here, of doing motional, animated motion studies of anatomy, where we like work at one part of the thing every day. Like we get the kind of bones and the general like landmarks established of like the motion for it, and then we add then we layer in the muscles to the animation. And the kind of stuff that I'm thinking about for that. This is something I found the other day. If you check I think I posted it in the drawing education section. Yeah, you should definitely like read my drawing education section. I've been finding lots of cool shit. So this person right here, Marianne an area or something. There's a bunch of stuff in this post that I found that was really useful. They actually have like a video of them making an animated animated anatomy study. Right here. I just randomly found this yesterday, or the day before yesterday. But she's done like she's a really good animator who's done back in 2022 she was doing and cataloging, making these really highly detailed anatomy practice studies of different components of the body. There's a bunch more that I linked improperly, actually, that should have been on here. Or maybe they're not loading. Oh, there we go. Well, there's a bunch of them. Oh, here they are. It just took them a bit to load. Yeah, these are really cool. But check like the Tumblr links that are in my drawing education section in my Discord right here. Um, these are really cool, and these would be good to reference, certainly. Like look at how like the deltoid changes shape and stuff, for example. This is really nice. Flipping the forearm right there and changing how that showing how that impacts like the bicep and parts of the arm muscles. The forearm showing off the flip and change of the forearm muscles. That's really helpful, and some really nice hand animations. And then there's this stuff right here. I could see like doing a multi-day study or something where we try to do something like this. Probably not going to make something as well executed as this, but it would be good to try like layering in the muscle groups, like getting like the bones and like the basic shapes in, and get those working, and then layer in the muscles and making them move. Be good to do like a version of this sort of study. Something to think about for sure. Yeah, I've been finding a lot of really good shit lately in here. If you scroll a good ways up, I think we're gonna start winding down a bit, so I'm gonna share some of the cool shit I found in here. This has got like a lot of good. This is links to a PDF that has like a lot of really good art fundamental stuff. Get out the screen here. Yeah, there's landmarks and shapes of the face. There's this person right here, the art coach, that makes these really good. You definitely have to check their YouTube shorts. They have a lot of really good exercise for like fundamentals and dynamic sketching practice. Yeah, there's a lot of good shit that I've been finding that I'm just continually posting in here. What is this? This person is drumming up publicity for their upcoming perspective book. That's cool. Little PDF in there to check that out. Neat. Yeah, definitely check out this. All these videos that I found that I've watched recently have been really useful. And so I just got a hold of this. I actually had this book years ago, but I didn't actually use it as much as I ought to. But it got stolen from me, along with $1,000 of other art books that got stolen from me. I just bought a new copy of it. This is a must-have book. It is a very good book. I think it's like $27 on Amazon. One of the best fundamentals drawing books that you can have. It's a beautiful book. It gets a little technical, and it's like in describing how you use perspective, but it is an essential book for any artist. It is fucking amazing. It feels so professional. This thing is like for $27. This feels like a very premium book. Peter Hahn's Dynamic Bible right here. I want to get a copy of this soon. I've studied a lot of like Peter Hahn's dynamic sketching, which is very similar to the stuff that's in the Scott Robertson book, but this is about using these techniques to like more freely sketch using primitive shapes to draw pretty much anything you want. It's a really essential book. So that let's see here. Yeah, so yesterday I actually did a demo for a student who I'm teaching some of Peter Hahn's methods to. And you may notice that here the sphere, box, cylinder, and cone and pyramid that are on the cover of Peter Hahn's Dynamic Bible. Like, we're showing how to subdivide cubes and how perspective works, how to build things and stuff out of primitive shapes. So, but that's like the kind of stuff I do with my tutoring students. I'm gonna be doing some more of this after I get done. I'm doing a tracing study of some One Piece shots because I'm getting feedback from someone who actually worked on this on this show. They told me to do lots of tracing studies to internalize the how the best animators work and stuff. So I'm going to be doing some more of that grind set later. Anyway, let's see here. This right here, I just found out about this book. This is a fucking amazing book that keeps getting recommended. It kept getting recommended to me in all these yeah, it kept getting recommended to me in all these artist book recommendation things. This is a book that teaches you basically how to use like the stuff in here and the stuff in here in a much more directed way to sketch and design things. In this case, there's a lot of product design things in this book, but this isn't just for product designers. This is for like being able to just like draw any object around you from primitive shapes and like create and invent objects and stuff. Like if you need props in your world building or anything like that, like this book and this book, and also the marker technique stuff that goes over it. It's a beautiful book. This is a book that was made by designers, so of course the designers are going to make the book very nicely designed. Sketching the basics. But I actually ordered this on impulse yesterday, and I'm going to be getting a copy of it arriving in the mail tomorrow. But you can see, I'd love to play the video for it, but I don't want to get to this point. But here, let's look at some of the websites that show this book off a little bit. Yeah. It's a really good book. It shows you a lot of like really complex things, but then it gives you like really basic lessons of how to like create like chairs out of cubes and stuff, and like simple shapes and so on, and make them into complex forms and designs. It's really good. This guy right here actually applies this book a little bit and some other things. By the way, when he makes this drawing that you see here, it's a pretty good video. Yeah, anyway. A little roundup of some things. Yeah. So where am I gonna go next, I wonder? Let's see here. So if you do have stuff to share that you've drawn from the session that we've been doing just now, you can feel free to share it in feel free to share stuff in any of the Art Share Zone stuff in my Discord. I'm going to be doing another session of these tomorrow night. The way these sessions go, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. We do roughly 1 hour of figure drawing warm-ups usually, and then roughly 1 hour of studying an art book and doing some drawing practice from the art book, like what we did tonight with Landmarks of the Torso of from Michael Hampton right here. Turned into a tracing study. We'll just kind of evolve this as we go. We'll pick up little bits and pieces of things. We'll bite off bigger chunks of stuff from some of the art books I study. We might even study stuff like the dynamic sketching books and do some primitive stuff, but probably directed in a way that might be about like placing scenery around a figure. Yeah. So, good shit. I'm gonna run one more ad on the way out here. But yeah. So, we will call it a night in a little bit. I'm gonna be popping over to my Discord after this, where I'm going to be doing a mix of those draw-over studies I mentioned and some other things. I still got the file set up for the One Piece studies. I'm gonna keep dicking around with those. In here. Wrong file. There we go. Yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing in my Discord alongside some other things with friends. I'm going to do get like a few more frames of do some tracing studies of One Piece from this sequence maybe, or get a new. Well, probably just more from this sequence. See where I want to start here. Yeah, I'll probably start with doing more of Luffy on this sequence here. I did add like a little bit of his head there. There's also this hand close up. Where else does this go in this sequence? There's a bunch more in this sequence here. I could do that close up. That's a really confusing close up. Is that it? Let me check here. There's actually more to that sequence. It's just that the Clip Studio file clipped it off there. So I'm gonna have to extend some stuff out for the whole sequence. Let's take a look. Oops. Yeah, see, the transparent background is chunked off there. But yeah, I'm gonna be. Oh, look at that! There's a. Yeah, this guy's partially shirtless, so that'd be a good opportunity to look for those anatomical landmarks for sure. There we go. Going back in here to see what's in here. Oh yeah, I think I want to study these poses tonight, actually, like right in here. Like these poses specifically. I'll just break them down to I'll break them down to simple forms. I'll also try to draw some of the kind of gestural directional lines that are building the structure and the characters and stuff. Pay attention to the perspective that's happening there with the perspective grid back there. Some interesting squash and stretch on Luffy right here. See? Alrighty. Good shit. I'll see you guys tomorrow for another session, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be getting another hour of figure drawing, followed by another hour of book study. All right, later.